Thank you, Ed, for hosting us today. What a great day it has been. I compliment Senator Warner and Congressman Davis and thank them for their leadership in providing this forum. You know, as I met with Senator Warner last week and he asked me to sort of help wrap this up, it reminded me of the time when I was serving as Secretary of Commerce and I was asked to fly out to Roanoke to speak to a closing two-day meeting of a long conference. And the weather wasn't great, and I wasn't sure if I should go, but the state, they took off anyway, and we landed in bad weather, but we were late, and I knew I was going to be late getting there right as about the time that it was wrapping up. Actually, a state police officer met me and drove me to the convention center, and as I was coming in, the panel was wrapping up in front, and I stepped into the back of the room, and I didn't want to interrupt by coming into the front, so I slipped into the back row. And as I did, I noticed this fella next to me who was kind of tired and leaning back in his chair and kind of wiping his brow. And he looked over at me and he said, "Sir, are you going to stay to this thing to the bitter end?" And I looked at him and I said, "Sir, I am the bitter end." And I've always been sensitive to the fact that the people who stay to the end really are committed. And I want to thank you for staying to the end, because I think you'll find that the discussion you've had today really does have life after today. There is an opportunity to implement some of the goals and objectives that you've talked about today, and they will add value to the opportunity to lay a groundwork for Virginia's future. You know, as president of the state chamber, I get to meet with other state chamber CEOs a couple of times a year. And I am always flattered by the questions that come to me and the discussions that I have from other state leaders. They'll say, how does Virginia get such high rankings? Why is it that Virginia is so highly ranked on these national business rankings? For many of you in the room, you know that we're #1 place to do business. We consistently rank at the top of all the national competitions. And they say, is it because of the education in Virginia? And I say, yes, education's important. We've invested in higher education in K through 12, education's important. Is it because of the workforce in Virginia? Absolutely. One of the reasons is that we have a great workforce and we can compete on a manufacturing basis and a production basis with any place in the world. Is it because of the fact that you are so well connected by ports? You've got that great port in Hampton Roads, and some of my friends here from Hampton Roads know what a lifeblood that is to Hampton Roads in the state. We actually have a couple of international ports. We have the Dulles Airport and we have the port in Hampton Roads, and we certainly are connected by port and by rail. We're challenged with our surface transportation. Is it because of history, mountains, and beaches? Because, you know, if you do focus groups around the country, and we've done this, and you ask people, what do you think when you hear the word Virginia? Well, they say Virginia's for lovers. That's the second most recognized slogan in the United States. But they say history, mountains, and beaches. And it's because of the history, mountains, and beaches. Is that why you rank so high? And the answer is partly because of our quality of life. But the real answer is that you can go north of the Potomac and in the northeast part of this country, and you can find other states that have great ports and great workforce, institutions of higher education, great intellectual capacity, but they don't have the job creation and the 5.6 unemployment rate that Virginia has. The reason is Virginia is really fortunate to be for business because of our business leadership. We're fortunate that the history of Virginia has been business leadership that has helped shape public policy. Now, I want to ask you a question. I want you to not raise your hand and not answer this out loud, but I want you to think about the answer to this question in your mind. And here's the question. Who is in charge of Virginia's future? Think about that. When I ask people that question one-on-one when I visit with CEOs, I'll ask them, who is in charge of Virginia's future? And I get answers like, well, the governor's in charge of Virginia's future. That's right. You know, we elect a new governor every 48 months in Virginia, and we're the only state in the nation that has chosen not to allow that governor to run for re-election. The General Assembly is. We have great members of the General Assembly, and those members meet 45 days one year and 60 days on the other year. So who's really in charge of Virginia's future? I would suggest to you the answer is those of you in this room. And those of you in this room have an opportunity to really be in charge of Virginia's future. The items that you're discussing today are items that you can actually go further with and have a real imprint on if we formalize the process. So the discussion I have had with other CEOs in other states is how do you organize on a long-term basis a long-term vision for your state's future? And the answer is you create a blueprint based on the private sector's vision for the state's future. And the blueprint should transcend multiple gubernatorial elections. I had the pleasure of serving 4 years in a cabinet of one governor, and essentially each governor produces their plan and their vision for 48 months. And we in the business community, every 48 months, ask ourselves, which candidate do we want to participate in supporting so we can buy into that candidate's vision? And then we get a vision as a result of a 48-month timeline. And the problems of Virginia and the challenges of Virginia, while I always want to promote that which is most positive, are real. Our investment in infrastructure is the platform upon which we stand, and that platform is crumbling in parts of the Commonwealth. Our investment in Virginia in education is being challenged. The investments that we make in the Commonwealth's future in terms of energy and business climate and health care are challenging our future. And diversifying our skill sets to prepare for the onslaught of defense downsizing is a challenge for our future. The business community can tell education and government what they need, when they need it from a hiring perspective more effectively than those in elected office. So I want to submit to you the answer to the question of who's in charge of Virginia's future is those in this room and those willing to participate. And you can, through that participation, help create a blueprint for Virginia's future, then share that with those running for public office. Ask those running for public office how they're going to help us and what are their ideas to help us reach our full potential and reach the needs that we have in these various areas and disciplines that we've been talking about today. So I want to invite you to join me and the State Chamber of Commerce. We're going to work closely with the Council on Virginia's Future. I don't know if Jane Kuzak is here right now or not. And we're going to work closely with our regional chamber leaders to hold focus groups throughout the Commonwealth over the coming months in order to develop a statewide vision for Virginia's future. This is a plan that we'll ask you, if you're interested in participating in, let us know. We're looking to form a committee that would be a leadership committee to help oversee and create the blueprint for Virginia's future. The Virginia Chamber will facilitate the process in partnership with the business community and a university, and I'm inviting Mr. Ayers to think about participating in that. And we would like very much to work together to develop a blueprint for Virginia's future that has a vision for 2025. We will provide an opportunity over the next 18 months for you to participate in a committee that will help develop that blueprint. So I want to ask you, if you're interested in doing that, if you're interested in coming to a meeting to talk more about that, to let me know either through our website or my email address. It's bduval@vachamber.com, or you can go on vachamber.com and email me directly. Let me know if you're interested in participating and helping to develop a plan that will result in 12 to 18 months for a vision created by the private sector for Virginia's future. I think working together with the energy in this room and people like you throughout the Commonwealth, we can help develop a long-term vision to help set a guidepost to share with those in public office that will help create a brighter future for all of Virginia. Thank you for allowing me to participate. Let me know if you're interested.